I met Jean Chrétien was after the leadership. I didn't support him in '84. Sorry, John. But after that, we've been very close together. And one of the greatest moments was, and we spoke together last week. And in the last cabinet dinner, he wrote on the menu, "From your political father." Oh. And when he decided to resign at the caucus in Chicoutimi, we passed 30 minutes together alone before the others. And he said, and you know, he's a great man. He was not somebody who was providing a lot of compliments, but he said at that time, he said, "I see myself at your age." And it was probably for me one of the greatest compliments that a Prime Minister like Jean Chrétien gave me. But it seems that I always wanted to be up front, to be, you know, in public life, where I was the master of ceremony in high school, and I always loved to be, you notice that, right? I like talk in front of you. And I even participated in the Just for Laughs on numbers myself. So, and I learned that from Jean too. You gotta laugh at yourself, and it's working very well. And humor is a great way to pass some messages. But you know, but I had a lot of great people who surrounded us, and you know, every day is a learning session. You learn every time. And you know, at 55, I had some very important moment in my life, and the March of the Living was one of them too. And you know, you learn so much with the others, and just by sharing your experience. And you know, man is a social animal. We need to share and discuss among ourselves, and the best way not to make mistakes is to make sure that you keep your... The reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth is we have to listen twice and we talk.
So I think that's a wonderful way to encourage Jonathan and I to turn to all of you. So Sari, if Sari would raise a hand for a moment, has the mic, and so if you have a question, I'll encourage you to raise your hand and she will make her way around.
I'm not taking care of any city files tonight, okay? I'm not the mother-in-law of politics. Speak louder. Stand up so everybody can see you.
That mic you just need to have right back.
Oh, hi. Hi, my name is Nina, Mr. Coderre.
Next to your mouth.
Like this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Good evening. Thank you so much. My question to you, Mr. Coderre, is what do you do to develop your self-esteem, your energy on a daily basis? Do you have a mantra that you follow or a specific ritual that you do to get yourself going, to get the energy, the mojo running?
My mojo? No, I was thinking about Austin Power. Mojo. You know what, it's pretty bizarre because when I'm mad and when I feel bad, I'm just going out, have a walk and talk to people. I spoke to a lot of people these months. No, but that's the way it is. I mean, I love people. And just to share, give my Montreal handshake, which is a kiss, you know, sharing with them. And I don't talk a lot about myself. I've done it once with Paul Arcand. We had that interview, and I was talking a bit about how I feel, but, you know, I move on pretty fast. And like we say in French, je suis pas rancunier. Alors quand je suis pas content, je vais voir les gens, get a few laughs, get over it, move on. And it's working. Life's too short. And frankly, when you go to March of the Living and understand the richness of life, we are wasting too much time of hating ourselves and going on social media and for the sake of the anonymity to say stupid things. Any other question?
So we're not allowed to ask about potholes, right?
Again?
We're not allowed to ask about potholes. I want to ask two very quick...
I put all the money to fill them up, so I'm not there.
Two very quick municipal political questions. One, are there powers of taxation or other sorts that big cities should have in Quebec that they don't have? And two, is the fact that a rural vote is worth 150% of an urban vote a factor in how public policy is developed in Quebec? Does it put cities at a disadvantage?
A vote is a vote. Of course, some people will play the number of ridings versus... You know what I'm the proudest? We became a counterbalance. Municipalities, you know, je dis toujours en français, il faut être percutant et pertinent. And that's what municipality is all about. If you do remember, and that will address the two questions in a way. We, for the first time ever, and thanks to Mr. Couillard, but we were there to push. We have a new legislation about municipal autonomy. We have national capital legislation, and we have a status of metropolis. And in that status of metropolis, what we've been negotiating at that time, and we got, was the full power in housing, a new way to have the capacity to compensate and subsidize, you know, some vectors or commerce whatsoever, having the power also, economic power, and the rest, you know. Look what happened in the last 4 years. Just in 2017, we have 76 cranes that's worth $25 billion downtown. We had foreign investment of $2.1 billion in 2017. We had about 11 million tourists. We're getting good. So, and Quebec City is full employment. Look at Toronto. Look at all those major cities. This is, we passed from a status of creature of a province, thanks to being an act, to a level of government, the government of proximity. And at the end of the day, we have all the tools for that kind of diversification. And, you know, Maurice Bellemare, that's the only conservative that I will quote tonight, said it's not the size of the axe that matter, it's the strength of the swing. So you are what you want to be. It's not about numbers. It's not about size. It's about relevance, sticking together, and when you have all the people together, it gets results.
Thank you. As the former mayor of Montreal, you spoke very often about le vivre ensemble. And in the 4 years that you were mayor, there were many, many events and activities that were taking place here in the city of Montreal. What is it that we can do as a minority community that can continue on that path, on le vivre ensemble, so that our neighbors, our friends can understand, and so we all understand each other, and we're able to live in harmony, if that would exist, utopia. But we'd like to hear from you on that aspect.
Oh, it's pretty simple. From the federal government, as a member of parliament, as a mayor, as a citizen, I mean, okay, there is some collective rights, but if you don't protect minorities, who will? When you start to play with silos, the worst happens. So, the living together is to make sure that we all respect. I'm for multiculturalism. Why? Equal and different at the same time. At every level. When we're talking about protecting the minorities, I'm not pointing fingers saying, oh, this is a Jewish, this is an Anglophone, this is a... No. This is a citizen. So the attitude is very important. So why do you think I was against a charter of values? Why do you think that I complain about the Bill 162? You cannot tell me how to dress our employees when you just provide a legislation that gives you autonomy. But at the same time, I don't want to see a bus driver at minus 25 who will have to make a choice if a woman with a veil with her 2 children should be in or not because she's wearing a veil. I have a judge in front of me, he's wearing a kippah. He must be very good to be a judge. You have to be appointed, you have to be good. It's not about the kippah. You see, it's all those things together. And we're all equal. But we need to be there to protect the minorities. The minute that you're focusing and thinking everything on one size fits all, I'm in a temple, I'm not going to swear, but it's bad. We've got to be careful. And that's why in immigration, please don't judge a case of immigration by the status of a country. You can go to Mexico and you think it's a great country. It is. I know a lot of people there. But in certain provinces, if you're gay, well, check your life. You can go in certain country where it's great, but, you know, there is some situation. So that's why every case is a unique case. So by doing that, by protecting minorities, it's not special. You don't provide any special treatment. You just help them and you respect them. And you will always have to address and protect the most vulnerable. Because if you're not doing that, worse can happen. Because when you put up a one-size-fits-all where you're saying, oh, you're quite different. You're not like me. You're the enemy. Oh, you're coming to my country, you're stealing my job. We don't want to repeat what happened in the 30s in Germany, right? That's strange things that I'm hearing in the United States, in Europe, in Africa, in a lot of countries right now. And that's why we need to make sure to bring people, and the living together is so important. It is not a popular way to be in center all the time. You will have people from the right and from the left who will despite you. And sometimes, when you don't want to hear things, it's easy to use the word consensus for everything and to have unanimous motion. It's tougher to protect your way of life and respect where you're coming from and who you're from.
Bonsoir, Monsieur le maire. Je voudrais savoir, je vous pose une question. D'après tout ce que les médias disent maintenant, que vous avez eu raison, qu'est-ce que vous pensez de la politique maintenant?
J'ai eu raison de quoi?
Ben, avec tout ce qui s'est passé ces derniers jours, puis moi, c'est les médias, c'est les citoyens, ils vous donnent raison, mais je voudrais savoir, c'est pas votre opinion là-dessus.
Il y a des gens dans le monde qui se font tuer parce qu'ils ont une opinion différente. Ils n'ont pas le droit de vote. Ils n'ont pas le droit de donner même leur point de vue. Notre rôle, c'est... l'élection est finie. Notre rôle, c'est de protéger l'institution. Notre rôle, c'est de protéger la démocratie. C'est de s'assurer de combattre. La meilleure façon de combattre ça, c'est de combattre le cynisme. There are some people who are doing their job, but it's like in life. There are some people who are doing badly their job. Sometimes they're taking the easy way, but the institution is more important. We need to protect our democracy. We need to protect our freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Okay?
Thank you very much for your words tonight. If you walked out of temple tonight and got taken down by an e-bus, how would you like to be remembered? Said if you walked out of temple tonight and got taken out by an e-bus, one of our new energy efficient buses, how would you like to be remembered?
Oh, if I died tonight. I have a hearing problem, I'm sorry. Authenticity. What you see is what you get. I'm not here to please everybody, but I sleep well at night. And sometimes it looks like arrogance, sometimes it looks like determination. But I think that What I would like to make sure that people remember is that, you know, we're talking a lot about against politicians. Democracy has a price, and always don't forget that there's a human being in everybody, no matter which country, no matter which party, to put your face on a sign and decide to cross that Rubicon, it is an important step, and we have to respect that. I am what I am. I mean, I'm a bit polarized, I don't know why what to say, but at least you know what to expect, right? So I think that's authenticity.
Good evening, Denis. One of the things that's happening in our lives as religious people is religion is being privatized to the places of worship and to family, not in the public square. But during my association with you, you put us back into the public square. I can remember that night that you called us all together behind closed doors and said, as religious leaders, how can we build a city without hate and without prejudice? That's the public square. When it was time for the migrants, you called us together and you asked us for our advice about the migrants. That's public square. On the 375th anniversary of the city, we were asked to sit in the front row, and we were welcomed in the public square. I thank you for that, because it's not often that we've seen leaders in cities, in provinces, or in countries allow religion to actually operate together in interfaith and in the public square. For that, I thank you extremely, and I thank you, my brother.
Thank you, Mr. Coderre. I thank you for your presence here, I'm sure on behalf of all of us, and for sharing with us your humanity and your compassion. I have a question for you on a specific subject. You mentioned the Nazi flag, and of course we've, most of us I'm sure have read the articles in the Gazette recently, and so, you know—
They did a great job.
They did a great job. So just, you know, cutting to the chase, to me, if you're a Nazi promoting Nazi ideology in Quebec, that's hate speech. So what do you think, you know, should be the process now going forward? You know, it's public. You know, do we bring the article to the police and say, hello, please do something? Should they be doing something on their own? Should the mayor be doing something? What happens then?
We have the rule of law. If we identify people, there is laws. And what I would be disappointed is that if we didn't do anything about it. So we have to denounce. You know, when I've been, I'll finish with that because I think it's important. I'm the one who signed against Ernst Zundel to kick him out. Certificate of security. Was not a citizen, out. But if we have citizens and who are promoting hatred, the Supreme Court is pretty clear, and we have the legislation for it, so we should apply it. You denounce stuff, but don't play the police. There's a reason why we have now a police department for hatred incident and hatred crime, and they will have to do they're doing their job. And as a matter of fact, there is an inquiry in my understanding from what I've been reading, okay? But what's important is that no left behind. If we hear things, if we see things, we need to talk about it. And it's a nonpartisan issue. It's a citizenship issue. It's a matter of life, and to respect the others. And any form of intolerance has to be denied. And we need to make sure that, though, we need to be present. We need to share more. We need to educate. We need to sensibilize. Because if we're not doing that, that's why the March of the Living is so important for the Jewish community, from generation to generation to understand. But we should all have our March of the Living in a way. And bringing, you know, from schools to make sure that in the curriculum that we prepare our kids for the best in the future. And but every time you react, but the best way to be efficient is to prevent. And that's why we had the center, I create the Center of Prevention Against Radicalization that's brought violence. It's now even the United Nations is taking that as a model. We have an amazing director who's going all over the world, and we're all shared from cities and countries. And think global, act global. All right?
Good evening. Victor Goldbloom was my friend, and I really miss him.
Put it close to your mouth.
Oh, very close. I said Victor Goldbloom was my friend, and I really miss him very much. Thank you. There is a little bright side to this whole thing, man. It's 73 years later today, I was liberated. Yesterday night, the 7th of May. Well, that's not important. That's only important for me that I'm here. I was very happy that you went to see Auschwitz, especially the main camp where all things were happening. There was a center of all camps. Where you have mentioned the angel of death, I had to let go the audience that I have seen him almost every day. I was a very fortunate position, secured in a way in the camp. I was a cook, so they could not kill the cook because nobody would eat the next day. Then you mentioned in detail Auschwitz point by point. It was a front made as a picture. And during the course, I was knowledgeable enough that the whole world knew about this. I was witness to the Red Cross to come to visit us and check if our meal is the right thing for the inmates. So the world knows very well what's going on. My question also is for the whole world, that was not anymore, because today similar things are happening, not even close warfare, we can't even compare it. But where was the whole world? Where was the whole world watching, day by day? Over 1,000 people going to the crematorium, openly, going in there, and they have done nothing about it. And today's question is, why is it happening to similar way? Thank you very much, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for that statement. Listen, that's why it's so important to be a witness. Remember the boat exodus? I mean, there's, in every country, in every continent, people didn't want any Jews. But we need to talk about that, and we need to confront that. And that's why it's so important to talk about it, so the worst won't happen again. And it's not just to not remain silent that counts. It's by all our gesture that we can also prevent the worst for the future. I'm ashamed of what happened in the past. That's why I was not in favor of that legislation in Poland. You had the Polish, but there were some people who participate too. And you don't want to revisit the history. You want to confront it, and you want to make sure that the fact is a fact. And that's why it's so important to have the survivors with us. You are truly a sign of, an example of resilience. And the more we understand, the more we want to protect life. And the more we will prevent those atrocities. I have great friends in Armenians, same thing. Ukrainian, Rwanda. You have the worst examples. And from Auschwitz, 1.3 million people has been slaughtered. 1.3 million. Would you imagine? It's more than the population of Quebec City. It's almost almost Montreal. 1.3 million. And at the end, the priority was not about protecting Germany and winning the war. It was about to more slaughtered Jewish. Look what happened in Hungary, the 600,000 Hungarians. No more silence. And every time, even I see somebody will raise that flag, we will have to react. We cannot remain silent. And through social media sometimes, all those groups who banalize and under so-called, gros bon sens, common sense, we're trying to use the same wording and of the past. That's why it's important that never again. But we should feel ashamed of it. In Quebec City, in Quebec, we had les chemises brunes. There was some fascism all over the world. There were some people who were supporting the Duce, Mussolini. There were some people who were supporting in the 30s Hitler. Of course, when the war happened, they changed their gear. But there is anti-Semitism everywhere. And we have to make sure that we'll fight it.
As Sarah's going to the next question, I'll follow Jonathan's lead in a question that's a little personal. I'm wondering if, as you look back, what regrets, if any, you have?
That's a confession. I cannot do that in front of everybody. Well, you always think that you should do more and more. But if you live by regrets, you won't advance. So you have to say, okay, this is what I've done. I live with it, and you move on. But frankly, I should have done that March of the Living before. But there are some who lived it, but you don't have the ideas of, by living a kind of event like this, change your way for life. I want to go to Armenia. I want to go to Rwanda. And when you share with community, diasporas, or individuals from those origins, you understand better. There were some people who were not recognizing the genocide in Armenia. We had to fight like crazy, even in Canada, to have our own motion in Parliament. The regrets is that sometimes we're not acting fast enough. But
so rather than focusing on the past, how does a person with your energy and experience, what are your goals for the future?
he's asking me if I'm running again. I don't know what I'll do. Oh, you want me to run again? That he's got that on record now. I don't know what I'm going to do. There's a lot of ways to make this city shine. I have now, I have a great opportunity now, ambassador to the foundation of the Jewish Hospital, which is a job. I'm working for Stingray, so they pay me to listen to music. It's Eric Boyko, an amazing leader, through innovation, create that ambiance and bring people together through culture and music, concert and all that. And I love this city, deeply. I don't know what I have that sense of, I said that Sunday at the interview, I have the sense of duty. I mean, it's part of my DNA. I've been in public life for 35 years. But there's other ways. I have to think of myself right now. I have to, I know I have to work on myself. I have to bring things together. Because, when you're working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter what field, those sacrifices make collateral damage. And I'm thinking about my family. And we need to bring the family together. And I'm in a learning curve. I mean, now with the Jewish hospital, I'm a witness of the health system. I can learn there. But I'm thinking about the Goodman family, Morris and especially Rosalind, where when we went to Israel, we went to Leket, which is a food bank. And I read it here. I think it's from the Birk Avot. It says, do not separate yourself from the community. That's all you'll get tonight.
I know, so you've upped the ante. Perhaps let me bring in another quote from Pirkei Avot to end this part of our evening, and then there'll be, if you go out those doors, there'll be some coffee and some Danish, and I really encourage us to continue the conversation. When I think about vivre ensemble, I think often about how it's a value we espouse, but we don't so often speak to people who are different than ourselves. Even to come into an event like this tonight, we come in knowing the people we know and seeing and recognizing the people we know. We don't necessarily approach the person we don't yet know. So if you've heard someone ask a question tonight which is interesting to you, if you think you've seen someone from the neighborhood but never had the chance to introduce yourself, I'm going to encourage you to do that tonight and not let any of the usual barriers hold us back. But the piece of Pirkei Avot which I'm thinking of and which I'll use to express my gratitude, and I think our gratitude tonight, and of course to the Goldbloom family for bringing us together as you do so beautifully again and again in so many ways. The quote I'm thinking of is, Lo alecha halacha ligmor, v'lo ata ben chorin l'hivatel mimena. I'm not going to put you on the spot to translate, though it wouldn't surprise me if you could. But it translates as follows. The work is not yours to complete, but neither are you free to desist from it. Neither are you free to walk away. And I think that you have modeled that beautifully for us tonight, that sense of leadership involving a broader mission, a cause beyond the self, that none of us in any given moment accomplish everything we want, and yet we don't walk away. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The best way to give a handshake is not like this, it's like this. So let all stick together. Doesn't matter if you're